Philippians 4, verses 6 through 9 read, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatsoever is true, whatsoever is right, whatsoever is noble, whatsoever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you." The month of May is Mental Health Awareness Month. During these times of mental stress, anxiety, frustration, and the desire to be considered normal, we have been experiencing an increasingly alarming rate of documented as well as undocumented mental health illnesses. Surely, and I believe, and I say this with strong convictions, the world is experiencing a crisis in mental illness. COVID has flamed the fire of mental health issues that were present and unattended, and now they have some considered to be a mental health wildfire. Our need to reform to the norms or the criterias that social media places on us and calls norms by placing parameters in place on us by making it seem as though if you are not a certain way, you're not normal, is causing an influx in younger and younger people exhibiting behaviors that I feel more than ever are the result of an increase in mental illnesses. We are led to believe that we must be 100% happy at all times, and that is the furthest thought from the truth. Psychologists and psychiatrists will tell you that if you are always 100% happy, that within itself is a mental illness. I say this because we all have ups and downs. We all have highs and lows. We all have ins and outs. We all have personal experiences or circumstances that we can talk about, or in later years, think about what was wrong with that, not knowing that it may be back then have been mental illness. The problem comes in that as a psychologist within the African American community, there is a stigma placed on those persons that seek mental illness help. As I have told more clients than I care to number, that just as you take the pill for your high blood pressure or your kidney disease or for diabetes or any other physical challenge in your body, so should you take care of your brain, your mental psyche. So often our lives tend to be trying to live up to someone else's expectations of us. And with this expectation, more often than not, causes our mental instability. Within this society that I like to call microwave, we look at other people's perception of us as being how we think of ourselves, when in reality, those same ones that you are judging yourself against have their own issues, whether known or unknown. We all have periods of times where we feel mentally stressed, mentally distressed, and in some instances, mentally deprived. And the solution lies in our ability to take care of ourselves, physically, mentally, and spiritually. So often we lie down to sleep at night. It's a stressful situation. We sleep with stressful situations, and we wake up with stressful situations because we have not allowed ourselves to fully grasp the thinking of, I must take care of myself mentally because I'm not able to take care of myself mentally. I can't help anyone else. Just recently, I was speaking with a young African American male that was in great duress and stress. And as I listened to that young man being as hyped as he possibly could be, when he paused for a minute, I said, Now, can you breathe? Now, will you breathe? You must breathe. His response to me was, I don't have time to breathe. What an oxymoronish thought. He felt that he had not a relaxing moment. Before I could get into my professional mode of thinking, I said, but what are you doing now? And I say this to remind each and every one of us that we must breathe. We must learn to find something that relaxes us, that we can take our minds temporarily off of our cares and woes, even for a minute, off of the cares and walls that we're going through. All of these things that I have stressed or distressed or anxious or even suicidal and homicidal, we can find relief. There is not a day that goes by that we don't have or hear news stories of distressing incidences. And for me, my first thoughts are, now that's a mental case. As I close what I like to call my public service announcement about mental health, I want to remind each and every one of us, especially those who are in the faith, that every morning when you open your eyes, when you stare in your bed, when you begin to realize that another day has come, you have overcome yesterday and you are now in the present, that God has given you a present. My handle on my personal social media sites and on my voice message is my statement. Every day is God's gift to you. Make it blossom and grow into a thing of beauty. I am wearing a shirt which has become a second mission statement to my nonprofit, No Gamble Inc., that says, my self-help is my mental health. Think on these things, as Philippians 4:8 says, think on these things. Also, I want to remind that on May 20th, from the hours of 12 to 2 Eastern Standard Time, the Chaplains Council of Legim Incorporated is having a mental health symposium via Eventbrite. We have some phenomenal psychologists, social workers, and counselors that will be on this network as presenters, and you will have the opportunity to ask questions in privacy without anyone knowing except the person that you are sending the question to. Please register and be a part of this avenue to help the African American community in the fight on mental illness. If you aren't able to attend, please reach out for resources, whether you are a veteran with mental illnesses and mental symptoms or a civilian, a family member of a veteran with mental illnesses or symptoms, parents, caregivers, teens, children, friend of someone with mental illnesses. Mental health resources and network links will be available. We even have one speaker from NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illness. Until our culture and society begins to realize that we must take care of ourselves mentally, I truly believe that there are so many positive things that will occur. Will it happen overnight? I know now, and I know not. But what I do know is that, as I told that young gentleman in crisis, you can only eat an elephant one bite at a time. And please join us if you cannot join us at that time. Please look us up on YouTube as the recording will occur, and reach out to the resources, to the people that we have, the presenters that we have before you to aid in your fight today. And only help yourself or your family members, but also not only help yourself or your family members, but also to take away some of the stigma that has occurred within the African American community. So many resources are available. The American Psychological Association has an excellent website to help you in obtaining the resources national and locally as well. I thank you for taking the time out for listening, and I thank you in advance for being a part of this National Mental Health Symposium presented by Legim's Incorporated Chaplains Council. Thank you, and may you find your peace in God and continue to give you peace. And God continue to give you peace, as we say in the meditation world, light, love, and life. God bless you is my prayer.